Hello everyone, you're watching Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Police say human remains recently found in Niagara-on-the-Lake are the result of a homicide. However, they have yet to identify a victim. Niagara Regional Police (NRPS) are describing the deceased as a black male, 18 to 22 years old, between 5'10" and 6'3", with a muscular build. Homicide investigators have been working closely with the NRPS Missing Persons and Unidentified Human Remains Coordinator and have determined that the current description of the victim does not match any known outstanding missing persons within the Niagara region, police said in a news release. Investigators said they believe the incident, which they are calling suspicious, happened between late 2021 and the spring of 2025. They added that this ongoing investigation is particularly complex due to the decomposed condition of the remains. As a result, forensic and post-mortem examinations remain ongoing, police said. Anyone with the further information is asked to contact police at 905-688-4111, dial option 3 extension 100, 9417 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. The federal government says individuals' email addresses and phone numbers associated with Canada Revenue Agency, Employment and Social Development Canada and Canada Border Services Agency accounts were accessed in a cyber attack. The Treasury Board of Canada Secretariat says the government was alerted to the cyber incident on August 17 by Two Keys Corporation, the provider of a multi-factor authentication application used for the accounts. The government says Two Keys Corporation discovered the incident, promptly informed the government and launched an investigation which is being conducted with external cybersecurity experts. Treasury Board says a routine software update caused a vulnerability that allowed a malicious actor to access phone numbers associated with CRNESDC accounts and email addresses associated with CBSA accounts linked to people who used the authentication service between August 3rd and August 15. The government says the actors sent spam text messages to some of the phone numbers with a link to a website designed to look like Government of Canada website. Treasury Board says the multi-factor authentication service has been restored and there's no indication that any additional identifiable personal information or sensitive personal data was discovered. A third arrest has been made in connection with a gunfight that led to the death of 21-year-old Mohawk College student. Harsimrat Randhawa, an international student from India, was fatally struck by a stray bullet while waiting for a bus near the intersection of Upper James Street and South Bend Road at around 7:30 p.m. on April 17. Hamilton police said she had just left a nearby gym and was heading home when she was hit by a single bullet during an exchange of gunfire between two groups. On Tuesday, police announced that 29-year-old Jaden Jones was arrested on September 8 with the assistance of Toronto police and has been charged with first-degree murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. He appeared in a Hamilton court later the same day. Last month, police arrested Jordan Foster, 32, who is charged with the same offences as Jones, and Obisi Okafor, 26, who is facing 3 counts of attempted murder. Investigators are continuing to search for other suspects involved in Randhawa's death. They had previously said at least 7 people were involved in the gunfight that night. Canada is providing $2.6 million in humanitarian aid for people in Pakistan displaced by flooding and for Afghan refugees. Pakistan has been grappling since June with floods and heavy monsoon rains that have affected roughly 4 million people and killed more than 900. Randeep Secretary of State for International Development says Canada is sending $2 million to the UN Refugee Agency in Pakistan, which primarily supports Afghan refugees, but has also been providing emergency relief. He says $350,000 will be sent to Save the Children Canada to provide emergency shelters, water and hygiene services. The remaining $250,000 will support the Pakistan Red Crescent Society's relief work. Pakistan has experienced a rise in large-scale natural disasters that environmental experts have linked to climate change, including floods in 2022 that led Canada to announce $58 million in aid. Suicide rates have largely improved over the past 2 decades in Canada, but not among teen girls, according to a recent study. We found that in Canada, most young people have been stable or even improving suicidal trend over the past 2 decades. Sean Bin, assistant professor of psychiatry at Boston University, said in a video interview with Awaz News on Tuesday. However, Canadian teenager girls are the big exception. Their suicidal rates have continued to climb steadily. Suicide rates for Canadian female adolescents aged 10 to 19 climbed about 2% each year from 2001 to 2023, according to a study that was published in the Journal of Preventive Medicine on August 28. However, the rates dropped less than 1% yearly for boys of the same age group during the same period. That may sound small, but when you add it up year after year, it becomes a meaningful and concerning upward trend, O said about the rates for female adolescents. In comparison, the study found that the rates for U.S. female adolescents increased about 3.4% yearly over 2 decades, swelling to about 8% between 2008 and 2017 before falling. Boys' rates were climbing until they declined nearly 3% from 2017 to 2023. In South Korea, rates for female adolescents notably grew between 2015 and 2023 to nearly 11%, while the rates for the boys rose about 5% yearly during that period. The rising suicide rate among teen girls and young women in their 20s is a trend occurring in many countries around the world, and it's especially worse in South Korea, according to O. Researchers from Boston University of Medicine observed suicide rates among young people aged 10 to 29 in Canada and United States and South Korea. They relied on national death records from the US, Canada, and South Korea for data and reviewed every suicide death among young people from 2001 to 2023. Researchers also observed suicide trends and varying patterns by age group and gender. Canada, the United States, and South Korea exhibited concerning upward trends in youth suicide rates in general compared to the rest of the world, according to the study. GM Canada says its previously announced plan to cut a shift at its Oshawa assembly plant won't take effect until early 2026. The company provided new clarity on its timeline for the move after the union representing plant workers had initially said the shift cut was expected this fall. GM Canada spokeswoman Jennifer Wright says the company's Oshawa facility will continue operating on 3 shifts through January 2026, after which the plant will return to a 2-shift operation. She says the timeline reflects current production plans and that the automaker will work closely with Unifor to support employees throughout this transition. GM originally announced the move in May on the heels of U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement of tariffs on Canadian-built vehicles. While the company had cited updated demand forecasts and the evolving trade environment, Unifor urged GM to reverse the move, which it called a reckless decision that deals a direct blow to our members and threatens to ripple through the entire auto parts supplier network. An off-duty Hamilton police officer has been charged following a 2-vehicle collision in Hagersville, Ontario on Tuesday night. The collision happened at 11 p.m. Ontario Provincial Police OPP said a driver struck a parked vehicle. No injuries were reported. The cause of the collision is unknown. OPP charged 37-year-old Kyla Job with failure or refusal to comply with the breath demand. Hamilton police said she was released and reassigned to administrative duties. Job is scheduled to appear in court on October 7th.
That's it for now. I'm Kubrali signing off. See you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.